Today's episode of the OMG Podcast is brought to you by Magnum Pro, the best live professional wrestling in the Midwest. If you want to check out more, go to youtube.com/Magnum Wrestling. We have highlights, interviews, full matches, and even full shows. youtube.com/Magnum Wrestling. Welcome, everybody, back to the OMG Wrestling Podcast. I am Tony Pizza Guy, Anthony Douglas. You might know me on YouTube as Tony Pizza Guy, the premier pizza YouTuber who talks about wrestling. And my co-host, or I guess host, or whatever you want to call him. Don't call him dirty names because he'll get turned on.
Have I been promoted?
You're, I don't know. Are you?
I don't know. Dirty names. I don't think anybody's ever called me a dirty name.
Jeremy Lubash, we can call him Jeremy on this podcast. In gimmick, he's Jack because his dad's name is Jack. Took after his dad. So cool.
Got me into wrestling.
Cool stuff. Mm-hmm. All right. Again, I want to let you guys know we have two main sponsors of this show, Magnum Wrestling, Magnum Pro, I should say, but youtube.com/Magnum Wrestling. Check it out. Me and Jack, Jeremy here, we help run that show. We're part of creative. We're part of putting on a best live pro wrestling anywhere to be found. I still stand behind that.
We don't say that just because we work for them. We say it because it's true. I mean,
that's the thing. You have to go live. Like, you can watch it on YouTube, which I encourage you all to go over there and subscribe. But if you're not watching it, you got to be there. It's different experience. And I'll even say that about professional wrestling in general. If you're not live, it's a totally different experience.
Well, the thing about I can only take from what the fans say at our shows. Like this past Saturday, we had our first show in Fremont, Nebraska, and from what the fans were saying, they thought it was amazing. I mean, the one guy said that it was the best $15 that he ever spent. And that it reminded him of old school AWA wrestling, but also with like a new school vibe to it. And he said he's a fan for life now. And I always say this to people. If you don't like wrestling, come to a Magnum Pro show. I guarantee you that you will be hooked, even if you're not a wrestling fan, because it's true. Everybody that's come to it is hooked.
There's something for everybody there. There really is. And I don't just say that because I like wrestling or I'm in the wrestling business or whatever you want to say, but there seriously is something for everything. There's females, which is a good plus for you males out there. There's hot dudes and half-naked clothes. And
did you say hot dudes?
Hot dudes. It was like 100 degrees out there.
Oh, okay. Well, temperature hot, yeah.
And hot, I mean like good-looking guy. Come on. Devin Thomas looks like Thor. Red Wing looks like the Incredible Hulk.
So you just admitted that you have a crush on Thor and the Incredible Hulk.
I'm saying...
Weird.
People talk about Thor being a good-looking, whatever. Anyway, go to youtube.com/Magnum Wrestling. Also, magnum-pro.com. But I'm really just promoting the YouTube right now. Get you over there, watch the match. We put up Anniversary for free. It's on there for free. Battle Royale Cup is up there for free. The full show. You can watch TLC, ladder matches, all that cool stuff. I know you guys love TLC
Piggy
matches.
in the Bank. I mean, that's... what other federation, indie fed out there puts their show up for free?
And we have the best content. Like, I've scoured the internet on YouTube and just trying to compare us to other places out there. I would say the only one that does what we do as much as we do is probably WWE, and WWE doesn't do as much storytelling on the YouTube as we do, but they have a show every day, so they don't need it. But
right.
We're pretty much the only independent wrestling promotion that if you go on our YouTube channel, you can know the storylines without going to the show, and that's a great thing. So anyway, guys, we'll stop talking about Magnum right now and get you into our second sponsor of the day is WrestleCrate. Go to WrestleCrate.com. Use code Tony Sent Me, and you can save some coinage as always, because I don't get a sponsor without saving you some money. And we got this sweet book that came in it. It's a graphic novel, The Headlock, The Last Territory. I have yet to actually read it, but
looks pretty cool.
It is huge. There's so much back. And this is worth $20. And the crate I got was $30. Plus I got a t-shirt that said old school. And WrestleCrate is awesome. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, you like collecting things, because I wasn't really into collecting until I started getting the pop vinyls, and then the WrestleCrate came out like after that. And hey, if you don't have any pop vinyls, they gave me the Macho Man one, so that's pretty awesome. Macho Man pop vinyl T-shirt and a book, plus pins and pictures and autographs and all these crazy things in there.
And if you go there and put in the code Jeremy sent you, they'll probably not respond back to you.
There might be a code, but Tony sent you is sent me. Excuse me, Tony sent me is the code. Now you're confusing me. So there you go. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff. And look, this is like, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the picture. If you're listening on iTunes, go to YouTube and check it out. But there's a picture. Those are all the guys that helped create it. I mean, just so many people involved in it. I mean,
how many Wrestle Crates do you get? Is it once a month?
It's once a month. It's a monthly subscription, sort of like the Loot Crate. If you have that, Loot Crate is sort of like gamer and geek stuff, but this is wrestling related. There's also like a Bark Box. There's there's a crate for everything, but Wrestle Crate, pretty damn awesome. I don't know anywhere else that would give this out. So, boom. There you go. Well, we are back finally with the OMG Wrestling Podcast. I think Solomon Crow took down our website because it got hacked. Yeah. I went on there and it said like Turkish hack team had taken you down, and I don't know why. It took down every website that I had, so I had to rebuild it from the ground up and re-upload the episodes. And I've been hearing people, when's it coming back? Where's the OMG podcast? I love it. Is it coming back for full time? And it's full time again. Woo!
I love it. But
that's
been like what, like 3 months, 2 months since we've last done a podcast?
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean,
I think our last one was when we were on our way to Chicago.
I think some of the thing is the summer as well. Wrestling kind of declines in the summer and then comes back up near the end of the summer. That's where we're getting again. But we got hacked, so we are back, and we are going to do something that we haven't done, and we're going to try and get guests more frequently. Knocking on the door, always. Current WWE community manager, Marcus Stevenson.
Ooh.
And he wants to come into the podcast. And the thing is about him is that
he's a jabroni, man.
I actually want to bring him in more full-time as opposed to just like a guest. Not like every episode, but maybe when we talk about pay-per-view or something like that, we can bring him in. But Marcus Stevenson wants to come on the podcast. We're going to have him on the OMG podcast. It's going to be awesome. So Marcus Stevenson, we have a lot of people we're going to reach out to as well. We want to get big names. I don't want to tell you who the names are because I don't want to be that guy that's like, yeah, we're going to get Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then he never comes. We're not the
That's what
buzz
you told
kind of
me.
people.
You told me Stone Cold was going to be our guest tonight.
He said, what?
What?
I sent him an email. I said, you want to come on the podcast? He goes, hot. Anyway. So, back on the OMG podcast, finally back. Let's talk about things in wrestling, more notably what happened last night at Battleground, pay-per-view, hashtag WWE Battleground.
Yeah. You know, it wasn't a bad pay-per-view in terms of wrestling. It was a bad pay-per-view in terms of what transpired.
I will say this. I guess we can get right into it. My initial reactions were meh.
Yeah. Well, this is the biggest issue that I have with WWE in general. If we're going to get right into it, I'm going to get right into it. I have said from the beginning, NXT is the best thing that they have out there.
Right.
And Vince is seeing the success that NXT is having. And Vince can see that NXT is doing something that WWE has not been able to do for a long time, and that is to really get people talking and captivate their attention with wrestling. And, I mean, their storylines aren't over the top, but it's enough to keep you entertained. So now Vince is starting to bring all these NXT people that made NXT over to the main roster.
Yeah.
And what irritates me is Kevin Owens was the first. And I told you that he's going to just get buried on the roster. He had 3 matches with Cena. 2 of them were great. The one last night was like, meh, like you said. And this is what pisses me off about that match is the way that Kevin Owens lost. He tapped out.
Let's save it. We'll go down it. I have a lot to talk about with that too, but we should probably go down in order. If you have the matches up there in front of you, results. Resultarino.
The opening contest last night was Money in the Bank holder Sheamus taking on the hometown boy.
Before that, we had the pre-show
Well,
match.
nobody cares about pre-show.
Well, let's at least mention it. They had King Barrett versus King What's Up, and What's Up had a plunger and a crown on his head like he always does because he's trying to win.
With you, all I saw was I turned it on right when Barrett got the win, so I didn't see any of that.
Well, it doesn't matter because it was just one of those matches where you knew King Barrett was going to win. I mean, it would have been funny if R-Truth would have won, but I don't really think they're going to do anything with R-Truth. So King Barrett is your winner. And like I said, it's just all pre-show matches have just been filler. It's just like there's no point in having a pre-show match.
No. Oh, there's no point to a lot of the matches they have
Why?
anymore.
What's the point? I guess you're doing a pre-show to hype it up, but why don't they do it like, what was that, Sunday? Well, not Shotgun. I was thinking Shotgun Saturday Night, but
Heat?
no, the one on Sunday they used to do in the mornings before the pay-per-views. It was like in the 90s and stuff. It was like they were in the Titan Towers and there's monitors behind them. They were talking and then they'd talk down the
Live Wire?
Yeah, something like that. Live Wire. So I don't do a show like Live Wire where they just run down the card and tell you what's going to happen and then you buy it.
This is the problem. If you're going to have a pre-show dark match, as they call them, to hype up the crowd, why you need to get a match that's going to hype up the crowd. I mean, I know this isn't the day like back in the age where you would order the pay-per-view and pay $40 for it.
Yeah.
And the reason they would do stuff like that is try to get people as a last-minute thing to get them to buy the pay-per-view. Now it's like you get the network, you automatically get the pay-per-view.
I know. There's no point in doing a pre-show when it's already, like, it just leads into it anyway.
Right.
It's like, all right. I guess there's still some people out there that still order it in the world. I don't know where they do, but...
Well, they're in over 200 countries, so somewhere they're probably doing it.
So... Yeah, pre-show is a thing of the past. I think that concept is kind of worn out.
I mean, they could have a match going on in the background while the panel talks.
Yeah, but they don't want to do that. I mean, they should just have the panel talk and sell the pay-per-view and play promos and stuff like that. I mean, there's no real reason to do a match when it means nothing half the time. And sometimes they do like Paul Heyman interviews or whatever. Like some guy answers a question, the Miz does a Miz TV or something. Like I'd be better with like a Miz TV type segment or like just some interview or something to hype the main event would be cool.
Well, this is a day and age where I mean Twitter, all that social media and stuff. I mean matches are constantly being hyped up and not necessarily a positive matter because it's like I got rid of my Twitter because it was just boring to me.
Yeah,
even if you're not famous, Twitter has no purpose.
Well, here's the thing. I think that like when they do that, join us in the social media lounge and we'll talk about what fans are talking about. Like that stuff's good when they talk about the matches, but having a match on the pre-show is just useless. But
right. Well, especially if it's King Barrett versus Archer,
because it's not even a match. Anyway, go on.
So I go to the opener now.
Opener match after we
Sheamus, Money in the Bank holder, briefcase holder, against the hometown hero Randy Orton. Obviously, that was the first match because Orton's hometown, and they wanted to get the crowd pumped up.
Well, let me say this: this isn't a good thing when I've watched Raw like here and there. Like I've watched the highlights. I pretty much tune into what I want to watch on Raw, and like it's so bad when I forget that Sheamus has the Money in the Bank briefcase.
I said the one thing I will like is that Sheamus is heel. He was terrible as a face, and they turned him heel. But it's this day and age again in the PG era. Sheamus can't be the heel that he was meant to be, and so yeah, and it just bums me out knowing that at some point within the year he's going to be the champion because every time somebody pretty much cashes in Money in the Bank, they win the title, and he's a Triple H guy, so. He's gonna win it, and it's like, here's to being boring again.
I was thinking that they were gonna do something with him cashing in, like, because that would be like the only way that, like, Seth would retain or something. I don't know. It just didn't make any sense. But I think that this match went a little bit long. I felt like it was like 30, 40 minutes long. Maybe it wasn't. Do you have a time on that match? If you go to the Wikipedia, I don't know if you're on there.
I am not, but I can.
If you go to a Battleground Wikipedia, they usually have the times on the matches. But I felt like the match was forever. And I know you were saying he's hometown boy Fans actually cheered him. They wanted to see their guy. But, man, this match seemed long. And I think there was only like 5 matches total on the pay-per-view, if I'm correct. 5 or 6.
I think there were 6.
But it's usually more, I feel. I feel like they did a lot. And then they ended really early, too. So that was weird. Like, not really early, but they ended at like 45, 46 after. When they usually go to the full top of the... It just depends on the pay-per-view, I guess, but...
Okay. King Barrett and R-Truth went 9 minutes and 15 seconds.
Okay, I knew that was not that long.
Randy Orton and them, they were actually the 3rd longest match of the night, and they went 16 minutes and 54 seconds.
16... Oh, man, it seemed like that match drug on forever. I guess it's a Randy Orton thing, though, that it makes me feel like it went on forever and ever and ever, but...
The fact that I'm sure Sheamus, I don't remember, it wasn't that memorable of a match, probably yelled, "Fella!" like 100 times, probably made it seem like an eternity as well. But for an opening match to the pay-per-view, I mean, first of all, I would have never wanted to really see this match.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Randy Orton and Sheamus to me are on that part of the roster where I could care less.
Well, they've had like 10,000 matches. I feel like they've wrestled like on SmackDown 1,000 times. They've wrestled forever. I feel like it's like I don't even know what to compare it to. It just reminds me like they've wrestled so many times, and it doesn't seem like it matters at this point.
The WWE way of booking is, well, we're going to feud these guys for 3 months at least so that they can each have a win, and then we'll have the deciding, the 3rd and final installment 3 months down the line.
This match meant absolutely nothing. It made Orton look big, but...
Well, it also made the Money in the Bank briefcase holder look like a pansy.
I know. He loses, like, unless they're going to have another match where he puts it on the line at SummerSlam or something, which please don't do because I don't want to see them wrestle again. But if they do that and then Sheamus retains, I'll be okay with that. But I just feel like, yeah, he's Money in the Bank. Shouldn't he get a win? I mean...
The only cool thing they could do is if he loses every single match, and then when he cashes in, everyone's gonna think he's gonna lose it. And I mean, unless he does cash in and he loses, I mean, just put him on a losing streak. I don't think they've ever really done that where a heel that's supposed to be dominant has been on a losing streak. It's like
I don't think they do that just because of his new character. And big thing I want to point out about this, the one thing I noticed, which everybody probably noticed, is Sheamus's nose ring.
Yeah, well, they even mentioned it on commentary.
You know, if I was wrestling Sheamus, I would work the nose. I would grab the nose ring. I would stomp on it. I would try and pull it out. That would be the best thing ever. Like, Orton should have started pulling on it and then stomping on it. Would have been the best thing ever.
Old school Orton would have done it.
He should have tweaked it, turned it, and then like they could do a spot where he rips it out. Man, that'd be brutal.
You know, I was thinking of this last night when I was watching the match. I remember it was quite a few years ago. I mean, probably like 5, 6, maybe longer than that. Where I remember reading about Randy Orton and that he signed a 10-year contract with WWE. Do we know when his contract's coming to an end?
I haven't even looked. I never thought about it. When did you say it was? Like a few years ago?
Well, it's got to at least be like 5 or 6 years ago because it was. I remember. If this is going to be a little too much information here for you, I remember specifically being at my old house that I grew up in. And I was on my phone taking a crap when I read it. And
you were taking crap on your phone?
I was crapping on my phone while I was reading it, which made it hard to read, which is why.
Right.
But I was taking a number 2, holding my cell phone, looking at it online, and I just remember seeing that he had signed a 10-year contract. I'm like, man, that's a long-ass contract. But, I mean, I'd say that's got to be coming up here close to an end. And I wonder if Orton's going to probably retire after that, but at the time when he signed that, that's when he was happily married with his wife and his daughter. Now he's divorced. I'm sure he's probably got another chica in the... He
has a new girl. I think I saw him kiss her in the crowd one time.
Probably hot as hell, like his ex-wife too. Bastard. I wish I looked that way with my shirt off, but I kind of wonder if it is coming to the end of that 10-year contract or whatever. I'm thinking he's probably going to retire, so I don't know. Maybe this is going to be his last hurrah.
I don't know. There's another guy who I thought would have been on the outs, Cena. I mean, like, if he would have lost to Owens, I would have been like, what else is Cena to do? But
Are you kidding me? Vince is going to ride that.
I don't know. I don't know. I think because he's in the mid card, he could be somewhat like. What else does that dude have to do? Like, he has nothing to do.
Well,
he's gonna put over
what he has. He doesn't have to do anything in the ring. What he has to do.
No, that's
is
not what I'm talking. I mean,
Vince.
I'm talking about like a wrestling bucket list. Like, okay,
I know. That's
he's done like he's literally won every title that he could possibly win. He's done everything he's possibly done, unless he wants to be cool and go to NXT, which you could probably see him show up there with Kevin Owens. But I guess. Well, we'll talk about that match later.
Yeah.
I was just gonna get into that. We both have like so much to talk about with that match, but let's move on from this Orton, Borton, Sheamus.
Well, the next one was for the tag team titles, and it was the Primetime Players taking on New Day. More importantly, Big E and Kofi, with Xavier Woods yelling and cheerleading on the outside.
You know, the big thing I was thinking this entire match is like they're gonna bring Swerved to WWE television because the main Swerve thing is like Kofi and Woods doing stuff back and forth on that show, and I'm always like, one of these days they're gonna bring it to the main roster and they're gonna be like, you got Swerved.
Well,
and then,
okay, good.
I was gonna say the whole night we were just joking about like how this like pay-per-view was they were just swerving us by like making us watch Orton and Sheamus.
I think the last like 10 years of WWE is one big swerve. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get more people that probably hate me. If you're a fan of the WWE show Swerved, I am not a fan of you. That is the dumbest show.
There's just something about it, like it's almost like Total Divas, where like I want to like it, and there's like elements of it that I like, but then like the rest of it's like there's like 10% of the show that's tolerable, and then the rest is like not, and then it's just like. Maybe 10%. If I tune in again, it'll be okay. It's like, but then they have like the dumbest things ever.
You and Logan forced me to watch.
Yes, we tied you down in a chair and put tape on his eyeballs and held him open.
I was done watching it after the first segment, and you two keep saying about how bad it is. But then you're like, I watched the next episode, and it was kind of good, but it was stupid at the same time. It's like, no, it's stupid. It's kid humor. They're playing.
There was the old lady.
I don't care about the old.
Pulled out her tits and had one of them sign it, and they got all mad. And
they're probably gonna stop doing that because they probably had parents like, my kid was watching that, and they want to.
They have parental controls. Okay, you can block it. It's okay.
Parents are lazy when it comes to stuff like.
Anyways,
that.
You've been swerved.
Swerved is stupid. If you like it.
The whole point of this conversation was that I think Swerve is going to come to the main roster somehow, and then Kofi and Xavier Woods are going to swerve each other in the ring, and it's going to be like, ha ha, and King's going to be like, he did it, he swerved him, and then Booker's going to be like, oh, wait a minute, I thought I had my own cooking show, but Hornswoggle popped out.
And then
JBL's going to go, oh my God.
And then Cole's going to go, WWE.
And then Byron Saxton's going to be like, Byron Saxton.
And then Corey Graves is going to pop his peas on his microphone because he puts it so close to his mouth.
Corey Graves here with the... Sorry about that.
All right. So back to this match. The shortest match of the evening came in at 8 minutes and 50 seconds. And, of course, the Primetime Players retain the titles.
Yeah, I don't really remember too much. Like I said, the one thing I was thinking about was they're going to bring Swerve to the main roster. It's coming to the roster.
Well,
any big
I could care less because tag team titles mean jack squat these days because there's no original tag teams together.
Okay, I'm gonna get flack for this, but I was just okay. So we were talking about black wrestlers in the WWE.
By the way, whatever he's about to say is all him.
And I said that in the WWE's mindset, black wrestlers either fight each other or they team up. That's all they do in WWE with black wrestlers. And it's not like this is racist. Like, that's my observance of WWE. It's like, that's what they do. I don't know why they do it that way, but that's how they book it.
I thought about that last night when the Primetime Players were hitting the ring. I'm like, holy crap, this is like all black guys.
And then when the next match with the Divas, and they have the black team, like Tamina and anyway, the way I see it is that WWE should think outside the box. Black wrestlers matter, says John West. independent wrestler, John West. That's what I say. So I will say that WWE, you should think outside the box and don't always team up or make them fight. I mean, it's probably just a Oh, you know what? Someone's going to come back and say, well, you see, why do they always have white wrestlers fight each other and team up? That's not what I mean. You know WWE, they're going to make a tag team. Now that if they started getting flack for it or something, they listen to this podcast somehow, they're going to make a tag team like Ebony and Ivory, and it's going to be like Bo Dallas and Kofi.
That could have been something during the Ruthless Aggression era, Ebony and Ivory.
Oh, with like actually Ivory?
The world's
Oh, that's actually Ivory and
Mark Henry?
Jacqueline are Ebony and Ivory.
Did they go by that once?
No, did they? They might have.
Possibly.
Probably. I don't know. If they didn't, that would be great. Somebody tell me in the comments.
They'll probably bring them back now.
Or send me an email, tony@omgwrestling.com. Anyway, guys, back to the original conversation. Yeah, think outside the box. I don't know. It just seems weird. It just seems like they do that a lot. I don't know why. I just always feel that, like, besides Booker T, they really haven't done anything. Like, when's the last black guy that actually was, like, in the main events and going for title? Like, R-Truth had, like, once, and then, like...
Bobby Lashley?
I don't know. They just don't give him a chance. I think Vince, like, seriously...
Is racist?
Yeah, I seriously do. Because, like...
I wouldn't doubt it.
It's like...
I mean...
There's a lot of...
I think everybody is racist on some level.
It seems like there's a bigger glass ceiling for minorities, and just like all minorities, because like you think of like I don't know, like Yoshitatsu.
They didn't different topic for a different time.
Yoshitatsu, they didn't even give him a chance. I mean, whatever.
Yoshitatsu, didn't he like?
They ended up like making it like super racist and just putting like face paint like Japanese, and he was like, "Ha."
Funaki and Taka Michinoku, where they were talking and they had voiceovers. that was
and the Mexicools on lawnmowers.
Oh my goodness!
Okay.
Wow. Hey, now that I think about it, WWE is really racist.
All right.
Well,
and JBL, remember that time that he was making fun of Eddie Guerrero? Then he went to the border and like kept the Mexicans
people up. That you're like, go back over and tell them they come over. JBL's waiting for him. It's like like they know who the hell you are.
JBL. Get out of here, JBL. All right, let's stop talking about racist stuff. But it's just a thought I thought of. I was like, you know what? They always fight and team up. I don't know. It's just okay. Move on, divas. Right?
No, the best match of the evening was next. Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about
that. That was the longest match of the evening at 22 minutes and 42 seconds, and that was awesomely great. That match, I don't have any complaints about that match. The ending, I guess, You know what my complaint about that match is the cameraman. Did you notice him? He was like in the way the whole time. It was all night too. I remember him in one match where like somebody like I think it was Darren Young was thrown over the top rope, and that I think it was a new camera guy.
The thing was like. I think like Vince or somebody was like, you need to get more in your face action, be up and close, it'll be, or like whatever. But like he was like constantly in the way, because when the end when Luke Harper came out and the hooded guy, like seriously, like I was talking like group of people and none of them are watching. I'm like, who's that hooded guy? And like they didn't even see him. They're like, you're making this up. And I'm like, no, this hooded guy just came out. And then like, because the camera guy was like right in the action, he like runs in barely and then like off camera. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
I caught it at the right time because I missed what happened. All I seen was a hooded guy, and I was like, "Oh, who the hell is that?" They're gonna have somebody new or somebody returning joining Bray Wyatt, and then they showed the replay, and you could obviously tell it was Luke Harper. But,
yeah,
I that match was pretty enjoyable. I still have no hope for Bray Wyatt because WWE hates him for some reason.
The one thing I will put out for you is when he went to do that drop kick, the apron drop kick
and
thing,
he got clothesline.
That was awesome. But then again, I kind of want to see it from not that angle, because there's no way that Bray would have got up fast enough and then gave him a clothesline. So he had to be drop kicking nothing.
That's a possibility.
Like I'm just thinking of like the live fans or the wide angle are like watching him just drop kick nothing. Like he had to have.
I think the whole thing for that spot was the bump that was taken, because Reigns bumped hard on the
Yeah.
outside of the ring, and like that's what like I like felt it just sitting there. I was like, oh my god, like I was coughing because the wind got knocked out.
It was
of me.
good, but I was just wondering. I was just thinking like he had to have been drop kicking nothing.
But what this means is now, I mean, I'm okay with the rematch with these guys, but obviously the way it ended, Roman Reigns is gonna probably what's gonna happen is at SummerSlam it's gonna be Bray and Luke versus Roman and Dean Ambrose in a tag team match.
Probably. This kind of bugs me on a number of levels. First off, it doesn't bug me that the Wyatts are back together. It just bugs me that they broke them up and then put it back together. Like why and then why?
They thought that I don't know. I'm
a huge Luke Harper fan though, so I think it's good for him to go back with Bray. And the other complaint that I have about this is that it makes Bray look weak, I think. And not in I know the thing with Bray is he doesn't need the win. It's not about winning. It doesn't matter. Well, it matters to me, okay? Because every time he loses, he cannot win a big match. And when he finally does, he has some interference. I mean...
But would you consider this a big match? I don't.
I think so. As far as
he wins,
I think as far as Bray and Roman and the path that they're going, I figured Roman would go over and he'd be, on one step closer to the main event scene, but because I think Roman's going to be main event next year probably. I don't know
for sure. Well, I mean,
but I think it's cool. I like the Wyatts. I like Luke Harper. I just want to know where Eric Rowan went. Is he MIA? Did he get sent back to developmental?
Probably had to go get his testicles sewn back together because of how tight his freaking onesie is that he wears, his jumpsuit. The match was great. The outcome, I mean, yeah, I'm glad Bray won, but it was again a dumb way to win it. I hope that the idea of them reuniting the Wyatt family will kind of be to where they can actually this time not screw it up. I mean, for some reason, I don't understand. Like these guys had like the best intro with vignettes that we've seen in a long time.
They still do. Even that promo package for the Wyatt Roman feud was awesome. I love it. And finally, they're letting him prove, what I'm saying is true, because he calls John Cena a liar. He says he's gonna break the streak or whatever. He's gonna kill the Undertaker. Well, finish the Undertaker, I guess he says. And then he finally gets to be a man of his word, so it's good. But the big thing is Wyatt family back together.
Partially,
I'm just guessing. SummerSlam tag team titles. I don't know what else they're gonna do. Primetime players versus the Wyatts.
No, like I said, it'll be Roman and Dean versus Bray and Luke.
Have you noticed these like matches have been like 10 years long with like Bray Wyatt fighting all of the members of the Shield for like ever?
Well,
like,
of course.
Wyatt. Remember I think that was 2 years ago when the Wyatts and the Shield did that thing and they were
got on
together.
The apron and like, this is awesome.
That was like so long ago, and they're still having their matches.
It's because WWE won't do anything with them except for Seth Rollins.
They'll do stuff with each other. That's all. They're just like, well, they're cool. Let's put them together and whatever. That's fine. Hopefully they do some good things with both of them. And I'll say this: I hated Roman Reigns. I still kind of hate Roman Reigns, but he's finally getting. I think he's finally getting in his stride where he can hold his own, and he's not like, for a while it was kind of phony, but his promos still need work, but. It's a lot better when
like most big men, he should probably not talk.
It's like you need to have him say a few things, real short and sweet, and then you're done. Just be like, that's it.
Well, you could always do what I did. My thing is I always feel like big guys shouldn't talk. They should let their actions speak for them. And go to Magnum, Michael Monsoon. I figured he probably shouldn't talk. He should just do action. So I had him do a vow of silence, but. That ended very quickly.
It got changed due to creative, but that's okay.
If they'd let me run with it, it would have been something cool.
It's all right. It happens. So, the way that we look at it is things are always evolving. They're changing, and hopefully Roman Reigns is going to adapt and get better. I think he needs to lose that vest. Do you remember that time You probably don't because it was random, and I just thought of it. Big Show ripped off their thing, their vest thing, and then chopped him in the chest.
I remember that.
Like that would be so. Like I wish someone would do that, and then he would just not wear it anymore.
It would be weird though to see Roman Reigns wrestling without a shirt on. Like I'm just so used to seeing him with the vest.
Is it weird that like pro wrestlers dress like backyard wrestlers nowadays? Like
Kevin Owens is
with.
Kevin
Owens is wearing what I'm wearing, like a t-shirt and
basically
and gym shorts, and like you have guys wearing t-shirts and pants, and like Dean Ambrose wears jeans and a shirt. It's like weird.
They probably fired their wardrobe department so that they could save more money because it's not like Vince doesn't have billions upon trillions of dollars now.
I'm sure. So
well, let's move on to the next match. This one, I have some things
This
to say.
is a revolution of the Diva department.
Or a plain old simple Divas match. So we had...
I thought this was going to be a 3-on-3-on-3 match is what the vibe I got from it was.
No. So you had Charlotte Paige and Becky Lynch. You had Brie, Nikki, and Alicia Fox. Sasha Banks, Naomi, and Tamina. And each one, earlier in the evening, Stephanie McMahon was just like... did an interview with JoJo, and JoJo...
By the way, have you noticed how short JoJo is?
And I forget what JoJo said to Stephanie, and Stephanie's like, what? Because Stephanie's like, I feel like the Big Show, and like, I think JoJo's like, yeah, you look like, and she's like, I don't look like the Big Show, whatever. But so Stephanie said, what? We're revolutionizing the Divas division starting tonight, and each of the teams gets to pick one person, and we're going to have a triple threat match, and I hope they choose wisely. Will end up being Charlotte, Brie Bella, and Sasha Banks, although it started out Nikki Bella, but then Nikki went out and Brie went in. So this match that I was like, okay, well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, and the WWE Universe was all excited about, turned out to be a flop, in my opinion. It was just a regular, basic Divas match. Charlotte and Sasha, I mean, I know they can wrestle. I'm sure they were nervous. This is their first time in front of a huge crowd on live television like that, wrestling, and they wanted to do good with all this pressure. You could tell in some of the moves they were doing, they were messing it up because, like I said, nerves. But, I mean, you put Brie Bella in there, she can't match their wrestling. Because Brie Bella is not really a wrestler. She's more just her and her sister were looks.
We were joking that Brie's like, I can NXT too. Let me get in there.
Yeah, no, you can't.
I can NXT.
Mean, Alicia Fox or Nikki would have been a hell of a better selection for that match.
Yeah, I would have picked Nikki. Why not?
But the only spot in that match that I liked was when Sasha had Brie in the corner between the middle and top rope, and then she put Charlotte between the bottom and middle rope and did her double knee drop.
Yeah, that was great.
That was the only cool spot of the match. But other than that, you know, it was cool that Charlotte was able to get the win with her the figure eight, yeah. But you know, it's proving exactly what I said. You're taking what made NXT what NXT is, these great athletes, and you're bringing them over to the main roster to ruin them. Sasha and Charlotte should stay on NXT because people don't realize this, that there is a big difference between NXT and WWE. WWE has a lot more regulations and guidelines that they have to follow. Their roster, their wrestlers do not have this open book of moves that they can do. They are limited to what they can do. There are some moves that they cannot do because it's deemed too dangerous, or you can't put that on TV. So even though it was a pay-per-view, they still got to follow their guidelines. So it's like, you're taking what made Charlotte and Sasha good away from them, and now you're limiting them. And I use Paige as an example. Paige, I know you don't listen to this, but if you are, I still love you. But Paige was amazing in NXT. She was brought over to WWE's main roster, and I mean, her first night when she beat AJ for the title, it was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, cool. This is awesome.
But then it's just like, you move on. It's like, well, now she's starting to fall into the whole guidelines and limitations, and what happened? She got boring.
It's
because like everybody else.
Because she was the anti-diva, and then she comes in and like she's on Total Divas. Like, what? And I think this whole thing you'll probably end up seeing Charlotte, or I think Sasha would fit better in with Total Divas, but you'll see Sasha on Total Divas. But I don't know if they're gonna keep having these, like if they're not called up, if they're still gonna be in NXT, I guess I'm okay. But again, it's just like there's who they have. They have Blue Pants over there. They have
Bailey is like
Bailey,
she'll be on the main roster,
which I think Bailey's looking like she's gonna get a push. Hopefully,
well, she has no competition now.
you have
Emma, who was brought back down.
Eva or whatever, Eva Marie.
Yeah.
She just went over there, and apparently she was trained by Spanky, so she's good or something. I don't know. Anyway, the thing is, they are going to take away from what's good in NXT by bringing it up, and
they're ready. You can already feel the flack. Or the NXT is not the same as what it used to be.
But here's on two points of thought. WWE always needs to evolve, and they need to bring more people up. But I think they have a current roster right now without bringing up guys. You know, like you could have kept them down there for a while. I know, like they did not know how to bring them up because the rumors were going around that they were going to call them up after Mania, like they usually do. They never did, and you were just wondering what's going to happen. Is Charlotte, Sasha, Becky Lynch, which one's coming up? When are they coming up? And they waited and waited and waited. So now they got this revolution by Stephanie. But I think they need to keep them down there. You need to build some of the people they have. I mean, you have so many divas that they don't do any. It's always like Nikki and Brie. That's it, and then they don't do anything with the divas that are currently there. Same with like wrestlers. Like you have like Mizdow. Like not saying he's great, but you could do something. Like there's another rant for another day. But once he broke away from the Miz, he should have changed it up instead of been some. You know. Anyway, they have a whole bunch of people on their roster currently that aren't doing anything. Then they bring up a guy like Kevin Owens from NXT who was killing it on NXT. Should have left him down there so they could have NXT be good. But I don't understand. Like NXT is a weird beast because I always am under the impression that it's still developmental. So you don't want to make action figures. You don't want to do T-shirt sales. You don't want to do all that stuff. But then again, you're losing out on money because you make Finn Balor, who's got the demon shirts. He's one of the most popular guys on NXT, and people love to buy the shirt, support him, do the face paint, all that stuff. That guy's money with all of his face paint and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, you have to draw a line where it's developmental or it's not. And I don't know. It's a tough call. Do you want to do it or do you not?
All the McMahon see is dollar signs. That it was a formula. And if I was Triple H, I'd be pissed off because it's Vince and Stephanie that are saying we need to bring these people over to the main roster. And this is what scares me. And like I had said a couple minutes ago, NXT is already starting to feel the backlash of these people going to the main roster. Kevin Owens is not on NXT anymore. When Sami Zayn comes back, he's going to be on the main roster. He's not going to be on NXT.
Well, you can't forget that Kevin Owens is going to be back at against Finn at the NXT Brooklyn show. So he'll be there then. So
he's also apparently has to fight Samoa Joe as well because they started something and they never had their match. I mean, Kevin Owens is in a feud with like 8 people. And it's
because he's a Triple H guy and they do it. But
they better. I don't want them having people being able to go to the main roster and then NXT. They're one or the other in my eyes. And when we were at Access at WrestleMania this year and we watched a lot of the NXT matches that they had there, they were letting a lot of like these guys that they're working with that are going to be the next people, the future of NXT. And all I can say is if that is the future of NXT, then NXT is going to die because those people all sucked.
I don't think that's true. I think what's happening is they're getting those guys that have less experience, some more experience, like not television, but sort of experience, and then they can work with them. Hey, you know what? You did good here, but we need to tweak this before you're ready for NXT television. So I don't think they're going to bring those guys up. And I also think there's going to be another independent talent raid coming up soon, or at least like poaching a few guys here or there that haven't gone, because there's still a lot of great names out there in PWG, ROH.
Well, there's 2 things I want to say about this. First, I want to correct something that I said earlier. I said Kevin Owens was the first guy to be brought over from the main roster from NXT to the main roster. Neville actually was like one of the first big ones to be brought over.
You can go back to Bo Dallas.
Well, I'm not talking.
Big E.
That was before NXT was like what it is. I'm talking about like what it is
before the
now.
live specials, I guess. Well, I guess Bo might be the first, but anyway.
Even so, Bo Dallas and Neville.
He's a good example.
Look they're both doing shit. I mean, Neville had a couple matches when he first got there. Now,
especially like I said, they brought
Sunday Night Heat.
They brought up these guys, and like they don't even have Neville on the pay per view. They don't even have Dean Ambrose on the pay per view. Like you have Dean main event one pay per view, and then he's not on. And like I said, use the current guys that you brought up and you have, and then keep the NXT guys down there.
They are afraid. I mean, one of these days, all these guys that they keep pushing constantly for the past 10 years, they're all going to be retired.
Yeah,
and
John Cena will be gone.
What are you going to do? Still have fucking Big Show wrestling?
This is WWE though. They're like,
why is Big Show getting why was he in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title? Why would he get a spot?
Why wouldn't Neville or Ambrose or somebody be
exactly?
And also to talk about this, let's just talk about Undertaker returning, right? Spoiler of the night, Undertaker returns in the main event. We'll get into there because I don't want to harp on this, but why? Why bring him back? You got all this talent right here, and you bring back a guy who I don't know. Well, let's continue on. I don't want
back to the Divas match.
I don't want to harp on this, but let's say Divas match, move on. We know how it played out.
This is one thing I want to say too, is like I don't understand why Divas have to be grouped together. I was kind of talking to you about this earlier. Why can't they just let Divas just be individual wrestlers? Why do they always have to team them up? Like I was saying, the male roster, the men's roster, they're all just guys that are wrestling. It's just like, yeah, you may have a tag team here or there, but they're not like, oh, we're buddy buddies or anything like that.
It's because of Total Divas.
Divas are like, well, we always have to be in a group, so we can't. They can't
Total
just
Divas.
let Paige be Paige. They can't let Charlotte come over and be Charlotte. They can't let Sasha Banks be Sasha Banks. They're like, well, Sasha Banks, you're gonna go with Naomi and Tamina, which is stupid. Back to your whole race thing.
Here's the thing, though. They're just like, Stephanie's out there like, Divas Revolution, stroke. I'm going to make the women are awesome. It's like, okay, let them be awesome then, right? Remember Trish Stratus, Lita,
right?
They were awesome. Victoria. They were. Some of them had males that they were with, like the Hardy Boys or like Stevie Richards, Victoria. Yeah. But it wasn't like these catty girls. It's like all this catty fighting where it's like she said this about you and then she said this about and then find out on Total Divas on Sunday, but then we can go back to the Divas Revolution because we revolutionized the Divas. If you didn't revolutionize the Divas, you wouldn't be the Divas. Anyway, done with the Diva discussion. Let them be themselves. Let them wrestle one. Maybe they just don't think they're strong enough by themselves, which is dumb, considering they're trying to do a Divas Revolution.
I mean,
I don't get it.
Prime example, Charlotte and Sasha at the show in San Jose, the WrestleMania weekend. That is probably the best match I've seen in almost probably like 20 years.
That's because NXT lets the Divas do what they do. They let them be wrestlers. They let them go solo, and they can stand on their own. Last week, NXT, main event, Divas, come on. WWE. When's the last time we seen a Divas main event on Raw? Besides Stephanie and Brie or Nikki in a conversation in the main event. They
never, because it's got to be the same.
That one where Lita almost broke her neck, I think, was the last time.
Yeah, it's got to be either Cena in the main event, Seth Rollins, and the J&J Security. I mean, it's the same people that are constantly in the main event.
The thing about WWE is they haven't made like a John Cena diva ever. I don't think, like back with Lita and Trish is a great example. She was like the franchise of, like, she wasn't, not saying she was like the best Divas wrestler of all time, but she was like a name. Like she was like a equivalent version of a.
There's nobody.
I guess Nikki and the Bellas are their equivalents now, but
they're not a threat. Like,
yeah, I know.
You don't think like, she's facing Nikki, she's gonna have her hands full. No, it's just like, she's facing Nikki, so Brie's obviously gonna get involved, and they're gonna switch out and stuff. But enough on the Diva stuff. Let's continue this rant with the next match, which was 22 minutes 11 seconds long, and that was John Cena versus Kevin Owens for the third time. and it was for the United States
Was
Championship.
Did they do that segment in between these two matches? I feel like they did.
It was after this match that they did the
okay, never mind.
The segment with Miz. But okay, as I was saying before, I said Owens was going to get buried when he got over to the main roster, and so it begins because they pretty much destroyed his career in this match last night by having him tap out. There was no reason whatsoever that Super Cena needed to make Kevin Owens tap out. Kevin Owens is supposed to be this amazing wrestler, this tough guy that tells you how it is, all this stuff, brings it to you, and no, we're going to make him tap out. We're going to have him kick out of like 15 attitude adjustments and a super one off the top rope, but we're going to have him tap out to...
Yeah, that's how it should have ended, that AA off the top rope, but...
Yeah.
Problem being is that making him tap out was kind of weak as well. I would have been okay with the Super AA, but that just makes his first victory look like a fluke.
Right.
Because he lost 2 in a row to Cena, so he can't hang. Where does he go here? And that's the thing. I know that maybe they didn't want to give him the U.S. title, whatever. Fine, I get it, I guess. I honestly think they were like, oh, shit. We need Kevin Owens back on NXT. We can't bring him up yet, but I could be wrong. He's probably.
I hope that's the case. I hope he goes back to NXT. I hope he's done on the main roster.
He's probably on Raw tonight.
There's nothing for him to do unless he's going to feud with Cena again. What is he going to do? I mean, well, I shouldn't say that because WWE will be like, let's see, we're backstage. Dolph Ziggler, you're feuding with Kevin Owens.
Oh, there's another
now.
Dude that they.
Right.
Wow. I swear they have like a dartboard or a roulette wheel where they're just like.
It's a dartboard.
There it is.
Same.
Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins main event. Genius.
Well, that's the only thing I hope would happen is that. Well, actually, I think Kevin Owens going up against Ryback for the Intercontinental title would be a pretty okay. Ryback's not the great wrestler, but
Kevin could make him.
Kevin could make him, and Kevin could make a great Intercontinental champion. But
yeah, I feel like
Kevin Owens tapped out, so he's pretty much a pussy now, and Cena gets to keep the United States title and do nothing. Well, I'm not going to say
thing that.
I will say that Cena has been putting on some incredible matches with the United States Championship. However, it doesn't mean anything when he's winning every single match.
Yeah, but here, like, I was hoping, I just thought of this right now. This would be a great way to do it. It would have been perfect if maybe they could do it on Raw, or maybe they could have done it last night. But if you had Kevin Owens' wife and son in the crowd, and then when Cena wins, the son is like super excited and like cheering John Cena on, and then like I don't know, somehow gets in the ring and hugs John Cena or something, and then that pisses Kevin off, and then it sends him into a spiral.
That would be too TV 14 for.
But I still think they're hitting on that fact where his son likes Cena, so I don't know. It's something to go with, maybe not. I don't know, but hopefully Kevin Owens doesn't have a downward spiral and go to nowhere. You know what? Maybe I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head. Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens. I don't know. Something.
No. There's no purpose to that.
There's no purpose to anything that happens anymore. So
no, that's true. The rich get richer.
Anyway, it was a great match as always, but I felt like this was a greatest hits match. Did you feel that way? It was like, remember this move we did off the top rope?
That's just it. It's just like you can't have guys wrestle 3 times in a row because there's only so much they can do. It's the same move arsenals every match.
Well, they did that top rope spot again. That was like that. Whatever Kevin Owens did, I don't even know what to call it. Where he like suplexed him up. And
yeah,
they did it. They did it again. It's like greatest hits of Kevin Owens versus John Cena.
Right, and it was boring. But I mean, I don't know.
We'll see where they go with it. Hopefully, direction changes, but
doubtful. Cena will probably be. I'm trying to figure out who his next feud's going to be. I mean, I honestly think it's probably going to still be Kevin Owens. I think they're going to fucking wring this thing out until.
I think I said it to you, or I said it to somebody else. I was like, you know what? Kevin Owens might win the first in their match, but ultimately John Cena is going to get the overall victory out of the feud because that's the way WWE does it, and that's how it happened. So,
yep.
Oh well. Next match here.
Well, there was a segment It was Miz coming out dressed in like a
women's
like
clothing
lampshade or something like that.
He was wearing women's clothing, I swear to God.
But Miz cut a very awesome promo, I thought. His remarks towards Big Show about Big Show's missing. He's been missing, in my opinion, he's been missing since the Attitude Era.
Well, it was so predictable what was going to happen, though, because he just kept talking and talking and talking when the Big Show was coming in the ring, and then whammy, knockout punch, and then Big Show leaves again. So
yeah,
woo.
Stupid Big Show, probably going to be face now, and it's just he does not need to be here anymore. There is no purpose for Big Show to be there.
To punch people in the face and then run away.
No reason. He's not a threat anymore. He's stupid. He's old. He's generic. I think it would have been a lot better to have somebody else come out and actually just face Miz. Like, that could have been the perfect opportunity for Neville to come out.
Well, the ultimate ending was Miz versus Big Show in a match, and we got a segment instead, so I'm happier with that than a match because that would have been the worst.
Yeah. So then we get to our main event. Seth Rollins defending the WWE World Heavyweight title against Brock Lesnar, which this was, for a main event, pathetic.
Let me say this to you. People, which it's not the same, but people complain that John Cena has 5 moves of doom, but Brock Lesnar has 2 moves of doom, the German and the F5.
And a belly-to-belly every now
and people love it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just, they just wanted to keep counting. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Seth took some crazy bumps, though, in that with the Germans and stuff.
He did, and that's why Seth made that match. And I will say this, the ending with Undertaker coming out did surprise me. I was not expecting it. It was, I know there was rumors about Sting and Undertaker being at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's next month, so whatever. But yeah, so
in my opinion, this was a lazy booking opportunity. I hate no finishes in a main event. I hate no finish main event.
It's a slap in the face.
It's the worst because you can't come up with something better. I mean, yeah, it seemed like impossible that Seth was going to beat Brock Lesnar, but to have Taker come out for what reason? I don't know. Is it because Brock took out Kane and he mentioned Brock mentioned The Undertaker a couple weeks ago? I don't know. But now we'll find out come Raw. This was one of those pay-per-views where like, what's going to happen? Watch Raw.
But it's not even like that in a good way. It's not
I hate those.
I got to watch Raw to see what other excitement I can see. It's like, well, let's see what shit they come up with now to give us reasonings why this happened. But Undertaker, a lot of people are like, oh, you look great. No, I don't think so. He looked like the worst he's ever looked. The guy's freaking body was spray tanned. His face was like pale white and droopy.
And he had like he was trying to grow a goatee in time, but he didn't.
Or you could see like he was just backstage putting his Just For Men hair color on, but it's just like it was cool. I like the idea of doing that. Lights go out and they come back on. Seth is gone. Undertaker's in the ring. The crowd was into it, but I don't like the fact that Brock Lesnar like got out of the choke slam the first time and then tried to give the F5 to the Undertaker. It should have been like choke slam, boom, you're out. Like, I don't even think Brock should have even seen that it was Undertaker until his hand was around his neck. Gave him the choke slam, but gave him not 1 but 2 tombstones.
Did you see the way though he like when he started the tombstone, he had him on his shoulder.
Yeah,
and then like Brock moved his legs, and then he did it.
Undertaker was about there was no way he could have done it like without Lesnar.
He was about to drop him.
He was about to drop him, and that's the thing. It's like I understand Brock Lesnar's a big guy, but so what happens when you have like an 80-year-old still wrestling?
Are we really in that day and age where one finisher is not enough? Like, why did he have to do 2 tombstones? Really? Like, that bugs the shit out of me. He's the Undertaker. Has he lost his luster? Yeah, but if you want, like, 1 tombstone from the Taker is it. You should be done. Like, especially when Brock didn't expect it and he just wrestled a full match. You should have taken 1 tombstone, and the crowd went nuts, and everybody was like, "Yay, Taker's back, woo!" And then it's like, wait, Taker, did you miss last year's Mania where you could have got revenge on Brock, or did you
instead you
waited
pissed all over Bray Wyatt?
Okay, let's wait till, you know what? Battleground. That's when I'm going to return. WWE Battleground is what's going to happen. Okay, Taker, cool.
Well,
That's fun.
This is another fun fact. The main event was the second shortest match of the night. The freaking pre-show match
Was longer?
The main event match came in at 9 minutes even.
Wow.
The only one that was shorter than that by 10 seconds was the tag team title match.
I mean, I don't know what to say about this. I like Taker. I have so much respect for the guy. He's been in the business. He's a legend, but
Enough is enough.
I am okay with you coming back every Mania, but Battleground, for what? For what? For what? Because they want to sell tickets to SummerSlam. Yeah, but
well,
for what?
I don't know about you, but I have no desire to see Taker and Lesnar again. I mean,
if he wants to get revenge for the streak, it should have been immediately. Why wait this long if that's what it's for? Or because he attacked Kane? I don't.
Well, if it's going to be because he broke the streak, that pretty much should make Bray Wyatt feel like shit, because that's pretty much saying your match meant nothing.
Exactly.
We're looking right past that.
And then also, what is he, a face, a heel? I mean, Brock was a face, and are they going to do a face versus face? I know that they don't like to do face versus face with Taker. They always want to have a heel on the other side, but it made it look like he was a heel for attacking Brock when Brock was. It just does not make sense. It doesn't add up. There's something wrong here. I don't know what it is. You tell me. I don't know. I'm confused. So I don't know. That's the biggest problem about it, is I don't know why. No, Taker's going to come out and explain it, but I don't know why. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, it's not even going to be Taker that explains it. It's going to be Paul Heyman that explains it, because Taker doesn't do promos. Everything will be called in. He'll do like a promo on his cell phone, and they'll play it over the speakers.
Hold on, let me get Taker's promo. You want to cut it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lesnar, rest in peace.
I don't know that the effects even did anything.
I don't know.
Let's try it again.
I hurt my throat. I don't know that I can do it again.
Eric, do it again. All right, I finally figured it out. Ready?
Hang on.
Here's the Brock Lesnar. Here's the Undertaker telling Brock Lesnar why he attacked him last night.
Lesnar, it's not doing. I'm done. I'm done doing it.
No.
No, my throat is like seriously scratchy.
Okay, ready?
You do it.
For real.
You do it.
No. You got
my
it.
throat is like so scratchy right now. Lesnar, rest in peace.
And that's the promo, because he's gargled and he's through like a.
If that happens, I want $1 million. I'm done doing the Undertaker voice. It hurts.
There we go. There's the promo on why he's gonna be like, "You beat me at WrestleMania. Now I'm gonna get revenge at SummerSlam. My match with Bray Wyatt meant nothing.
I'm in a coffee can."
And that's it. There you go. There's our promo for Battleground 2.0.
No one is ever going to listen to this
SummerSlam.
podcast again.
All right, guys. Overall, pay-per-view was in my opinion, it was a meh. You could probably not watch it. I'd say go watch the highlights on the internet. That's
like
fine
I said,
with me.
wrestling was okay with it, but storylines, stuff like that. But yeah. Guess tell everybody what we got to do tomorrow night.
What do we? Oh, tomorrow night we're going to.
That shows you how important this really is.
Tomorrow night we're going to SmackDown in Omaha, Lincoln, Nebraska.
Lincoln, Nebraska.
There's a Lincoln street fight with Seth and Dean. I don't know what that means, but apparently they probably do it at all like the live event.
It means that they're going to jab each other in the stomach with chairs a couple times.
But we will come back with a full report for you guys, let you know what we thought, all that good stuff. We'll send you jabs our way on the Lincoln street fight and let you know what went down, because that's just a dark match and it doesn't matter. Maybe Taker will show up. I don't even know if I'd be excited or not.
No.
I don't know. I kind of am, but I kind of not. I still think Taker's fucking awesome, but I don't know.
I'd be excited if it was people like Ryder, Ziggler, Mizdow, all them.
What if Sting comes out in sunglasses and no makeup and he's like, "I want you, Taker. I don't care what you did with Brock. We're fighting." And he takes off his glasses and he's like,
I'd probably just be like, okay.
There's a story truth be told or not, I don't know. Indie wrestlers that wrestle for Magnum told me that Sting is totally sauced out and he's out of his mind and he's wacko. Somebody was wrestling him. Tommy Dreamer said the story. I don't know if it's true or not. Could be true, could not be true. Tommy Dreamer says, I got an email. Tommy Dreamer says that that Sting is whacked out of his mind. He said, "Hey Sting, do the Sting comeback," and Sting goes, "What's that?" And then Tommy Dreamer did it, and then Sting's like, "Oh, okay, now I know what to do," and he started doing it. So apparently, there's more stories about Sting being whacked out of his mind, but could be true, could be not. That's what I heard from independent wrestlers who were on the show with Tommy Dreamer, and Tommy Dreamer said Sting is wacko.
Tommy Dreamer is probably not the most reliable source.
Thanks for listening to the OMG Wrestling Podcast. This was our battleground discussion. Marcus Stevenson, I got to hit you up, and you'll be on the podcast soon.
You're a jabroni, man.
iTunes, you can check us out there, omgwrestling.com. There's an iTunes link up there. You can download it, come straight to your phone. It's the best podcast to download and go straight to your phone. Plus, again, thank our sponsors, youtube.com/Magnum Wrestling, Magnum Pro YouTube channel, where you can find all of the latest and greatest from Magnum Pro. It's awesome. It's a great show. It's a good time. If you're in the Omaha, Fremont, Council Bluffs, Lincoln area, come on out and see some live pro wrestling. Also, Wrestle Crate. Again, use the code Tony sent me. I believe it's 10% you can save. Save some coin while you get an awesome box of wrestling nerdgasm to your door every month.
And speaking of Magnum Pro, our next show is August 29th at the Sokol Auditorium in Omaha, Nebraska.
Magnum Pro presents Red Wing versus Devin.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a good one. Are we going to go out with some music?
No, you can jack us off.
Oh, man. Well, you just spoiled it. What's the fun if people know it's coming? Oh, well. So, for Tony Pizza Guy, I'm Jeremy, also known as Jack Lubash, and I am jacking off.